Excellent. Well, that is just a little bit of knowledge for all of us. For many of you, this is very familiar, and all of these backgrounds and places are like, you know, your home grounds. But for many of us on this side of the world, it's things that we have never seen. So we wanted to share that with our guests today. And in this note, be able to go ahead and move into our next session. We have a wonderful plenary session prepared with many keynote speakers, but that's, for me, the honor is going to be to present our main presenter for our next session. He is a disaster management specialist, resource scholar, and social entrepreneur, Professor Suresh Marisalvan. Please go ahead. And you're unmuted, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Nilsa. His Excellency, Mr. Rawat, sir, Mr. Paul Arun, sir, Mr. Ferrari, Mr. Ponnuswami, Mr. Ashok Rao, and my colleagues and friends, Kundan, Sundar sir, Nilsa, Ranjal, Rajesh, all, thank you very much for this opportunity. This is really a dream come true for me, because I've been dreaming about taking up an assignment with Latin America. That's the only one continent I've left. So this time the dream has come true. It is not, I think, happening now. The relationship with India and Panama, right from 1962, it's happening from the records which I have studied. And I am known as an Agni man. Agni means in India, known as fire. A-G-N-I, Agni. Agni means fire. A stands for academia, G stands for government, N stands for NGOs, and I stand for industry. Okay, so I work with academia. I was with the government. It's a bilateral agency between government of Denmark and government of India, and then I'm part of UN also. And then with the NGOs during the disasters like tsunami when I hit to, and then now also we are working with them as a community development. And finally with the industries as part of CSR in the academia, we are doing this with then on industry institution interface. So talking to the participants, many of my friends from industry, from UN, from NGO, from academia, they have logged in, and one among them is Shiva Kumar, who is a geologist, and there is Damodaran, he is a UNICEF partner, and he has established 600,000 toilets in India. He is working as part of Swachh Bharat India with the government of India. Sudipta, we have seen from the academia, the industry also have friends over there. So the point is, when we talk about a holistic development, we are highlighting trade promotion, industry, yes, but simultaneously we should think about knowledge management. The right word Kundan was using, knowledge-based economy. That's a word I want to underline and present, because when you take industry, when you take an academia, when you take an NGO, when you take an industry, it is linked with a development, a wellness, and a prosperity. So all combined together, it's called a holistic development. So that is what we in INLACE we are considering to take it further. In that context, we have a list of speakers who are going to present in various topics, including the wellness, health industry, IT industry, textile industry. So we have a list of panelists waiting to present their views on INLACE initiative of this Indo-Panamanian venture. So welcome back to Kundan. You can start with the first panel, and then I'll join you for the second. Thank you very much. Back to you, Kundan.
Thank you, Professor Suresh, sir, to be a part of INLACE team, always a well-wisher from Tamil Nadu, from Chennai, a family man, a mentor, a supervisor, a guide, and a philosopher, a very ardent research scholar, right? So it's a great honor to have you, and we'll take it forward. Professor Suresh has been a former advisor to UNDP programs in Tamil Nadu and South India and elsewhere within India, right? And he has rightly pointed out, he's an Agni, A-G-N-I. He's a fire in himself. Okay, so let's enjoy that fire in you, sir, on this webinar to be taking huge advantage of your knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you.
Without much ado, I'm taking this privilege and opportunity to invite our dear friend, a propeller, a risk taker, a mastermind of Panama Meets India program, Mr. Hardeep Bhullar, who is leading the entire show, the whole project. He's also marketing and investment director at Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of Republic of Panama, and also a person in charge for the embassy liaison within Panama and outside. So over to Mr. Hardeep Bhullar, sir, for your presentation.
Está en mute.
Yeah. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal ji.
Sat Sri Akal ji.
My pleasure to meet all you guys in India and in Panama. His Excellency Upender Singh Rawat, Ambassador from India to Panama. It's a pleasure to meet you. Also, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Kundan Kanan. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Nilsa. And thank you, everyone that is listening to me. Well, first of all, I would like to apologize because, of time, working with the government, sometimes it's very complicated. And I have a meeting with the National Assembly. But I will do one of the things that I love, and is to explain what means Panama Meets India. And after this webinar, I am for you. You can write me, you can call me, and it will be a pleasure to answer all your inquiries. Nisa, can you put the first one? The first? Yes, thank you. Okay, this is my project. It's a very, very big project. Now we have more partners, and I will explain you very short what means Panama Meets India. Panama Meets India is a project that I created 4 years ago. 4 years of hard work. And the most important fact of this project is to develop the new bilateral business relations between India and Panama. That's the main focus of Panama Meets India. And of course, the first question is, why Panama? Why Panama? Because we are the hub of the hubs, and we have some competitive advantage that I will explain you later. You can see that we started this project 2 years ago in 2019 with the assistance of Mr. Kundan Kanan and the assistance of Mr. Prabhakar Sharan, the Vice President for Latin America of Indo-Latin American Chamber of Commerce. And as you can see, our main mission is to promote the new bilateral relations between India and Panama. You see our objectives. We promote from our office the investment regimes of Panama. We act as a liaison between the Indian companies and the government institution of Panama. And of course, our first scenario for India is our connectivity. Our task, Panama Meets India has their own task. We identify Indian companies annually to develop official missions. The first one was in 2019. We cannot be able to do the second one in 2020 because of the pandemic. And now we are preparing for the next Panama Meets India 2021 in September. We will be there from September 18 to September 30. We will go to New Delhi. We will go to Mumbai, to Pune. We are going also to Ahmedabad. We are going to Hyderabad. And of course, also we are going to Chennai. We are, as I told you, we are the first contact for the Indian investors in Panama. And we create full agendas, full travel agendas for each state of India that we visit. Our marketing strategy is very simple. We generate potential investor categories, as you can see. We develop database of qualified investors, and we give to our Indian investors the follow-up. Our partners, as you can see, is a very large list. And as you can see, we have the Embassy of India to Panama. We have the Embassy of Panama to India. We have CII. We have INLACE. And we have also, sorry that I don't put it, we have Indo-Latin American Chamber of Commerce. You can see that we have also the main regimes that we have in Panama. We have a City of Knowledge, Colón Free Zone, Panama Film Commission. We have multinational headquarters, the manufacturing law also. We have the Panama Canal, the Authority of Maritime, the Authority of Tourism. I mean, we have a lot of government institutions that they are also our partners. But it's very important to mention that in the case of India, we have good allies. And of course, we are looking for new partners. The next one, Nilsa, please. Well, these are the competitive advantages of Panama. You see that the first one is our connectivity. That's the most important. Before, Nilsa,
Sorry,
before.
go ahead. I'm placing it. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah. The most important advantage that we have, as I told you, is our connectivity. We are a dollarized economy since 1904. We are a fiscal territory system. We are an international banking center. We have permanent economic growth. And as you can see, we have the opportunity to bring Indian companies to Panama, depending on which sector each Indian company wants to invest in Panama. The next one, Ilsa. Well, you see here some demographics of Panama. You can see our GDP per capita, our GDP at the third trimester of 2020. We are a population of 4.3 million people. And the most important thing to promote Panama is that the market of Panama is not only the 4.3 million people. We are talking about 1.3 billion people. That means all the Americas and the Caribbean. That's our main market. From Panama as hub of the hubs, that's the opportunity for Indian companies, including complete access to the markets of USA, Canada, and Mexico. Nisa, the other one before. These are the most investment countries in Panama. You can see Canada, United States, Spain, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Colombia, and other relevant countries. And as you see, India is not mentioned. But India, with our strategy, with this purpose that we have, many of us, to attract India to Panama, we will see that finally, as the path is open, India will have the chance, the opportunity to bring their experience, to bring their knowledge, their companies to Panama, and we will increase the position of the country in Panama. The other one, Nielsen? Well, you see here in the map how we present us like the great connection with our ports. As you can see, we have a tremendous opportunity, in this case for Indian companies, to do their manufacturing, to do their redistribution of products, any activity that any company of India would like to do. Panama is the opportunity. Also, with the assistance of our international airport, we have 90 destinations. We have 8 submarine fiber optical cables. And as you see, the opportunities are open for any activity in the region. The next one. We have free trade agreements, 22 agreements, reaching 60 countries. As you can see, what I told you, 1.3 billion people. Our purchasing power per capita, $21,000. And you can see an example of the free trade agreements that we have, as you can see in the map. We have 7 laws, 7 special regimes. As I mentioned before, we have Colon Free Zone, we have City of Knowledge, we have the Panama Film Commission, we have the manufacturing law, we have the headquarter law, we have free trade zones and Panama Pacifico. We work for each of these special regimes in each travel that we make abroad. In this case, because the strategy is completely related to India, Panama meets India, we help the special regimes to promote them in India. So in case you are interested in some of these competitive incentive laws, we are able to send you the information, as we do every day, trying to attract Indian companies to Panama. This has been a very serious work for me for the last 2 years. It has been so difficult, but at the same time, so interesting, knowing new people, getting new partners, trying to open a new perspective for the Indian companies to Panama. And as an example, I can mention that we have ProDAP that is based in Chennai and is an IT company that now is located, they are installed in Panama Pacifico. That's an example that the path has been open. I feel very happy and also very optimistic of the many things that we can do together between the big brother India and Panama. We are planning, as I mentioned you, to go to India next September. This will be a second trip to India. And in this time, we will go with a bigger delegation that includes some executives from Colón Frizon. We are talking with Panama Pacifico. We are talking also with some investors of free trade zones, also with executive from City of Knowledge, and see the opportunity to go 2 weeks to India and send the message to the Indian companies that Panama is open for you. It's a small country, 4.3 million people, but I always told my dear Indian people that don't think in a 4.3 million market, think in a 1.3 billion people. It's a big market, all the Americas, the Caribbean, complete access to the USA market, the Canadian market, the Mexican market, and it's another way to develop new opportunities from India, in Panama, to the world. So I'm very honored, I'm very happy to assist you in any way possible. And for example, to give you a news, I'm going now to the National Assembly to talk about the pharmaceutical law, to see what we can do to open that market with my humble suggestions, and see that our senators, the people of the government that has the possibility to change the way we are thinking about opening new markets from India. This is the chance. I think that this year, 2021, we will do many things. I'm very grateful that I have Mr. Kundan Kanan, one of my advisors, and INLACE, that is one of my partners. Also the guidance of Mr. Ambassador Upender Singh Rawat is wonderful. And also the assistance of Madam Ambassador Jaciel Burillo in India, and work together and see what things we can do between India and Panama. Remember that the Indian community in Panama is very big. It's an Indian community with more than 100 years in Panama. That is something very interesting to know and understand what we can do together in Panama. We have Gurdwara, we have mosques, we have Indian supermarkets. I mean, we have a lot of things that involve our people, and it's something that you feel that you are at home. And I daily meet many people, not only from India, also from other Arab countries, from Europe, and they share with me the message that Panama, a very small country, but with a very big potential. And I feel that with India, a wonderful country, a very big country, one of the top countries in the world, one of the G20, we can do many things. So I'm here for you, I stand for you. Please, if you need any information about Panama Meets India, you have my mobile, my email. You know the way that you can contact me. I will be stand for Panama, for India, for all of us. Please, the most important thing is to be positive. It is true that we are now having the topic of the pandemic, but that gives us the opportunity to work harder, to do the things better. And finally, as human beings that we are, we shall survive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hardeep Bhullar, for that interaction. it's been very, I think everybody has gotten a little bit of more information about Panama that was very present and important. So I think, Kundan, can you present our next speaker?
Yes, I always say to Hardeep sir, thank you very much. And if there is a Singh, if there is a king and a Singh, it is king and Singh in Panama, right? So Singh is the king, Hardeep Singh Bhullar. Okay, thank you, sir, for this beautiful
Thank you
presentation.
very much.
You always spearhead the program of Panama meets India, and as I always say, India meets Panama. So both are in your kitty, sir, right? Thank you very much. Without much ado,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hardeep sir. Thank you. Thank you. May I take the privilege of inviting Ms. Yolani Nathani, CEO of Pro Panama. It's an investment and legal firm that works to promote new business into Panama. Over to you, dear Yolani. Podium is all yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Panama, and good evening to India. I'd like to salute all of our incredible guests and speakers that talked before me. I'm honored to be here with you, thanks to INLACE and the Indian Embassy of Panama for the invitation. My name, as indicated before, is Yolani Alvarado de Nathani, and happily married to Mr. Sunil Nathani, Indian citizens, for the past 16 years. So I'm very much identified with the Indian business community. Today, I will be speaking to you very shortly because I know it's been a long journey right now. I'll be speaking to you about the main products and the business relationship between Panama and India. So please, can you confirm me if my presentation is on and if you can see it properly?
Yes.
Yes, you can confirm me that. Thank you very much. So one of the main things that I would like to address now is some of the products that are being sent from Panama to India. So you have an idea of what is it that so far has been brought from India into Panama. We have a leading 78% of unprocessed teak, 16% of other woods. Some of waste and scrap of aluminum, iron, and steel has also been commercialized between the countries. Paper and cardboard, also obtained hides and skins, for a total FBO value, free on board value, of over $24 million, right? So if you see, despite the fact that it doesn't, it's not much of a big percentage, it actually, for Panama, being such a small country, it's a very important amount of money that we are commercializing and doing business with India at the moment. Now, some of the main products sent from India to Panama, which I believe it's basically one of your main concerns, would be 32% vehicles, including ambulances, hearses, and vehicles used for public and private transportation. Right now, with the pandemic, we do know that some of this has increased, unfortunately, due to the situation, to the health situation. However, before the pandemic, those type of vehicles had already been interchanged by the country on a 32%. We have a 10% of medicines that are imported from India into Panama, optical fiber cables, vaccines, herbicides and fungicides also include a small portion of the percentage of things on commodities that are brought from India into Panama, containers for compressed or liquefied gases, school notebooks, and certain other inputs. The balance, as you may see, it's at $38+ million from India into Panama. So at the moment, as you might see, the balance is providing a better engagement into the Indian commodities that are coming into Panama. Now, one of the frequently asked questions is, okay, so if I want to send my product into Panama, what can I do? How do I do it? The good news is that Panama offers simple procedures for general commodities to come into our country. So the main documents required, and here I want to emphasize that our organization, our agency, has several experts in different areas. We have attorneys, we have business lawyers, we have customs brokers, and we have experts on free trade agreements. So we will be able to provide you with full holistic information on how to import successfully, because I think that's the key word, successfully import commodities from India into Panama. Two main important documents are required in order to perform this international transaction. The first one is a commercial invoice, right? So this is a common and regular document. We will need a commercial invoice in order for the commodities to enter into Panama. And the second document would be a bill of lading or an airway bill, depending on the transportation that you have decided or you have chosen to use. Now, important things to point out is that food and beverages require sanitary registration in place before arriving to Panama. So make sure that you contact us in case that you're bringing some of those commodities that require sanitary registration. Also, it's important for you to understand that samples, when they're going to be shipped internationally, in order to enter the country, they do require certain procedures before arriving to Panama. So if you plan to send samples, please also contact us. You have our email address at the bottom of each of our slides. It's very easy. It's info@propanama.org. Make sure to contact us so we can provide you a specific list of requirements in order to send samples, and a specific list of requirements in order to get sanitary registration in case your commodities are related to food, beverages, disinfectants, and or medical devices. So on my last slide, I will be I'm sharing with you a very summarized way in which we start business in Panama. So step number one would be setting up a legal entity such as a corporation. And over here, it's important that we emphasize that all applicants must go through a due diligence process thanks to Panama Papers. We all have to go through due diligence processes, so the government is sure that we're setting up corporations for legitimate business people. Step number two would be licensing and registration. Business license and any additional license required depending on the type of activity to develop. Also, you need to register your business at the municipality. All of this is performed by our team of experts. You just contact us and we will develop that. We just want to make sure that you understand the step-by-step of setting up the business. Step number three would be to open the bank account. We provide that service as well. We will be providing an introduction and a setup for your business bank account or your merchant bank account, whatever suits you. Step number four would be immigration, getting you a permanent or a legal residency in Panama. A good news is that Panama just approved a special program called the Qualified Investors Program, where you would be able to get permanent residency almost immediately within a 30 days period of time. You would be able to get a response from the Panamanian government on the fact if you qualify or not for this Qualified Investors Program. Over here, it's very important to mention that due to international regulations and local regulations in Panama, Indian citizens would need a visa in order to come into Panama. There are exceptions to that rule. One of that exceptions is if you have gotten a US visa and you have used it, or if you have a residence or a visa from the United Kingdom, from Australia, or from other major jurisdictions, then there is the exception that you do not have to apply for a visa. If you don't have those that type of visa, multiple entry and exit visa, then we will have to file for a visa before you come into the country. Step number 5 would be to register the corporation at the tax entity, at the tax government office in Panama. You will get a tax ID, and income tax for corporation is 25% and up. Setting and introducing yourself into the system. If required, you will need an invoicing system that is connected to the Panamanian government. Step number 5 would be start your business, make a lot of money, and enjoy our beautiful country. So these are basically the steps in order to consider doing business in Panama and or getting residence by investment or getting a second passport in Panama. My name again is Yolani Natani. I am going to be staying here until the end of the event. So if you have any questions, please feel free to either contact me by chat or by our email address.
Thank you very much, Yolani, for joining us today and giving a little bit more of Panama. I think many of our attendees really wanted to know more about Panama, so that has been amazing. Thank you so much. Kundan?
Yeah, thank you, Yolani. So nice of you. A very, very dear friend, a powerhouse of information on Panama. And as you know very well, INLACE and Pro Panama, obviously, with the mediation or intermediation of Honorable Embassy of India here in Panama, we will be working very, very closely and spearheading the program by Panama Meets India and India Meets Panama. So there are people, as I always say, like-minded, right-minded people. And Yolani, welcome to the group of working together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the information. Over to Nilsa and Professor Suresh to conduct the remaining panel session. Please, Nilsa.
Yes, thank you very much. Kundan, we are going to go ahead and proceed with Mr. Deepak, and I am truly sorry because I don't want to mess up your name too much. So I'm going to leave it like that.
Ramasamy, Deepak Ramasamy.
Please forgive me.
Please go ahead.
You have the floor, sir.
Mr. Deepak, welcome to the seminar. A very great honor to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Kundan. It's absolutely an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this event. Nilsa, Deepak is the easy part of my name. Ramaswamy is the difficult part. Actually, Nolani already covered some part of my topic. Normally, I come from a logistics and shipping background. So Kundan, you may need to translate this in Spanish later. Normally, we logistics guys, we are like predators. We wait for businesses to get set up and then we pounce on the customers to get the business.
Allow me quickly. Las personas que pertenecen al mundo de logística, nosotros somos los que comemos a otro, okay, o sobrevivimos a otra persona. Okay, please go ahead.
So basically, when I was invited to speak on this, I wasn't really sure how I can contribute to building business between the two countries. But I think one of the attendees through his question has made me relevant. Vivek, if I may take your name.
Oh,
there's a problem. There's a problem there.
Yes.
So the logistics cost is not prohibitively expensive to Central America. The complications of shipping actually is not that much. About 14 years back, I traveled to South America. I had to fly 42 hours. Today, I can get to Panama in about maybe 24 hours. And that's probably only about 8 hours more than getting to the US. The other thing is, if you look at it, the US is equally far away from India, but they are our largest export partner. So the reality is, the problem actually lies somewhere else. And it's brilliant, Kundan, that you're doing this program, because I think the starting point for improving the businesses is connecting a businessman in Panama to a businessman in India. And if you look at the last 10 years, actually what's happened is our import and export trade, bilateral trade, has actually fluctuated. It's not actually grown or it's not come down. It's not a pattern. And that's because the trade numbers, like Nolani pointed out, they're so small that a year when you get a significant project going between the two countries, suddenly the numbers jump up. If there's a company that's going to invest $30–40 million, it just pushes up the entire graph. So the fact remains at the end of the day, and I remember Mr. Bhullar also mentioning that you're tied up with CII. The reality of the situation is, especially now after the pandemic, where let us assume, I'm just giving you mathematical numbers, let us say freight to Central America was about $3,000 and freight to the West Coast of America was about $1,800. Today, America is $4,200. Panama has sat at $3,000. So actually what has happened is the countries where there's a large volume of trade, the demand has actually pushed up the prices because supply has contracted. But for a place like Panama, it's actually an opportunity today, both for Indian exporters as well as Panamanian exporters, to look at an alternate market. If Panama was basically selling to, let's say, Europe, today their prices to Europe would have gone up, but their prices to India would not have gone up so much. So it would be interesting to actually look at it. But apart from the fact that today Panama is not uncompetitive, or India-Panama trade is not uncompetitive, just to give a typical manufacturer an idea, your logistics cost on a low-value product is going to be about 15%, and on a high-value product is going to be about 4%. Which means even if Panama is 25% more expensive than Europe, it would be Europe, it's only 1% more of your product cost. It's 25% or 4%. So therefore what happens is typically India and Panama are going to find trade in an area where effectively we are looking at an extremely competitively priced product. For example, I have a customer who's actually doing a lot of two-wheelers, motorcycles into Panama. Now the Japanese make the same motorcycles, Japan is closer to Panama, but they can't be price competitive, which is why Panama is buying from India, and so is a lot of countries in South America. So I actually would request the participants here to say, to actually go back to their supply chain and look at it and see as to whether an Indian supplier can be more cost competitive than their traditional suppliers. And the same for India. Like, for example, I think Yolani pointed out that one of the largest exports from Panama is wood, untreated wood and teak. We get timber from Malaysia. We get timber also from Canada. We get timber from the Scandinavian countries. Now, how is it viable, or how is it cost effective to bring it from Canada, which is so far away, versus Malaysia? It's simple, because Canada has so much timber, they're that much cheaper. I'm sorry, I did some research about Panama, but I really don't understand how the Panamanian timber costs would compare to, let's say, Canadian timber. But the point is, if you have a particular resource in abundance, and that's a potential export commodity, it's very possible that it could be exported to India much more cost effectively than even from a neighboring country like Malaysia. It's possible. And I'm sure there's somebody from Malaysia on this forum, so please correct me if my understanding is wrong, but it's a perception. So my whole idea is I'm not talking about a specific product, but I'm saying in terms of logistics, in terms of shipping, the logistics cost doesn't play as big a role as most people think. And therefore, I would recommend to everybody to actually look into their supply chains, both outbound as well as inbound, typically to understand how, whether currently it still is not viable, because in most cases, it's, I think, identifying the buyer. And I would request INLACE, this would be an extremely useful exercise. If you can create a directory of products that are being exported by specific countries out of Panama into the rest of the world, and you can actually give it to CII. CII has got a huge reach in India. If they can actually distribute it, then a potential Indian importer of an export product from Panama can actually connect directly with the Panamanian exporter and just start by asking for a quote. And if it is viable, you're going to actually establish a business relationship. I'm staying away from the investment topic because I know there are many more people on the panel who are much more expertised at investment between the two countries, so I'll stay away from that. I'll end my talk with this. I'll be most happy to answer specific questions if anybody has any at the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Deepak Ramaswamy. This is wonderful presentation, because it is not only sharing of information, but you have done a lot of probing of information, which really it's very interesting for these investors from both the countries. Yes.
Mr. Mariselvam, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to give actual time because I think Vivek mentioned particular numbers. I just wanted to tell, put it as information on this group. The transit today from India to Manzanillo is about 31 days door to door on full container loads, and it's about 45 days on part container loads. The reason being, every single cargo that is typically going into South America is getting transshipped over Manzanillo. Most of it, there are very few lines who are giving direct services from Europe into, let us say, Rio or Buenos Aires without touching up. Well, the eastbound it is, but definitely what's coming from China, Japan, Hong Kong, India, East Coast via the Pacific, they are all touching Manzanillo and going into both West Coast as well as East Coast of South America. So even the part container loads, as long as you're in a fairly big port where you can find enough cargo to close a whole container, you'll be able to actually directly ship it to Manzanillo without any reworking. And I would guess it's the same coming back also from Panama. So if somebody wants to just explore it, naturally, I mean, I have a partner in Panama. I can share the name with INLACE, and then they can just contact them there and, if they need any help or information. Sorry, Mr. Mariselvam.
Thank you so much. No problem. Yes, Kundan.
Just to add to Deepak ji, I had an opportunity to lead Expo Freight Private Limited, a group of Expo Lanka from Sri Lanka to Latin America trade lane head for 6 years. So I also come from logistics. Yeah. So let's connect together. Let's connect together and develop this logistical synergy between Panama, not only Panama, but entire LAC with that of India. And within India, a South India, right?
I'll be most happy to work with you, Kundan. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Be a pleasure.
So it will be on a larger synergy, what we always call it, South and South cooperation. In Spanish, cooperación sur y sur. Okay. So cooperación sur y sur, South and South cooperation. Mr. Deepak, you're welcome to INLACE and welcome to Panama. Right, sir?
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Over to Professor.
Thank you, Kundan. Thank you very much. And now you both have come closer since you are from logistics, and the world has become very, very small now. Okay.
Thank you.
Professionally. Thank you, Deepak. This is a wonderful presentation. As rightly said, you have done a lot of research and you have given information to the investors who are all interested in having business with Panama. As rightly somebody pointed out, if more Panamanians were there, this would have been a very good information for them. Also, anyway, the recording is there. We'll share with them, and then we'll see in the next seminar, which we have been planning for the next month, to share more of information specifically on this particular topic. Okay, I would like to invite the next panelist, very interesting panelist, because what is the fun without having an entertainment scenario of Bollywood and Bollywood? It is meaningless. So every time whenever you are tired, we always get into a movie from Bollywood or Bollywood. So we have a wonderful producer from Chennai, Mr. S.R. Prabhu. He's a film producer from South India, based in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, produced mainly Tamil, Telugu films and Hindi sooner. All the best, Prabhu sir, skilled in the film production, distribution and marketing, working towards making quality films and make the film industry better. And he is a very good analyzer also, continuously doing a market study in the entertainment field, especially media and the community interest. And he has come out with wonderful studies also. Mr. Prabhu, the forum is yours. Mr. Prabhu? Is Mr. Prabhu there?
I believe he's not. He may be having an issue with connectivity at the moment, but maybe we can go ahead and just jump ahead and come back.
Maybe, he may join again. So our next speaker, I would like to invite my beloved student, friend, my guide. Now he is leading the entire thing, Mr. Pranjal Jain. He is a chapter director of Startup Grind and managing partner INLACE. And he is an engineer from VIT University, where we got introduced to each other. And he's part of the INLACE team, and he's a proud alumni of VIT He is an expert in running startup communities and believes in bringing people together. His interest lies in designing ethical technologies. Today, he will be talking about his efforts in building the startup communities in New Delhi and nearby cities. Welcome, Pranjal. Take over.
Hi everyone. Hope so. My screen is shared with everyone.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so will not take much of your time as already we are running late as per our time. So in the meantime, it gets shared with everyone. So the purpose of me coming, to start with, I'm very proud to be part of the INLACE team. And the purpose of my today's talk is to talk about the importance of building a community. So I would be representing both the INLACE and the startup grind community here, and um, talking about when we are talking about the business opportunity, we should also not forget that we are here all together. So we should always be part of the community, and INLACE tries to build the community of businessmen, both from Indian subcontinent and Latin American countries. So to go quickly, what is the benefit of being in a community? It helps to get knowledge, it helps to get more connections, it helps inspiration. And when you are low, it always so there are people around you which could always help you. So the community contains a diversity of opinions, ideas, and knowledge that one would never encounter alone. And that's why I believe and I hope so that every one of us who are here remain be part of the community. And with the philosophy the startup grind also talks about. So to tell you a little bit about the startup grind, it is one of the world's largest community of startups, founders, innovators, creators, and we have hosted more than thousands event. The whole journey started in 2010 from Silicon Valley, US, and it is spread all across the world. Moving forward, uh, we have our reach to more than 3.5 million business people, entrepreneurs, and our values is before asking anything, um, help others, um, try to give and don't take, and make friends, not just business connects. Make friends who could go along with you when you're down. So coming to the agenda itself, how we are connected with the Latin American countries. So we have more than 50 chapters. This is a gist of the chapters which are running. We are just, so if anyone is interested, please reach out to me or to Startup Grind to understand more about what is Startup Grind and how Startup Grind is helping to build the Startup Grind community. Moving forward, this is another glimpse you will get to understand the Startup Grind community in Asia Pacific region, which includes China, India, and the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, right? And specific, coming back to my own point, I run the chapter in Noida, which is close to the capital of India, which is New Delhi. And I myself have hosted more than 30 uh, events, both physical and virtual, and have tried to harness, right. Coming straight now to how INLACE is supporting startup grind, how the INLACE is helping the startup community. I would like to mention one of our successful attempt in 2019 under the banner Panama Meets India, as Mr. Kundan and Mr. Hardeep Bhullar has mentioned a couple of times. INLACE assisted Mr. Hardeep Bhullar in agenda making input, and the team in 2019 went ahead and met a couple of organizations in Bangalore and Chennai, such as NESCOM, which is a community supported by the Bangalore, supported by the Karnataka government to handhold them. Then we have Expo Fate, EFL, which Kundan itself was mentioning a couple of minutes back, Then we have KMSOC, which is related to IT and ITES. And then lastly, the team Panama Meets India in 2019 met Surana and Surana International Attorneys. And I was fortunate enough to meet the minister and Mr. Bhullar in India, and especially in Mumbai when in the press meet. Thank you. As due to the time constraint, I won't take much of your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank-
much. Yeah, there you go, Professor Suresh. There you go.
Yeah, thank you, Pranjal. This is actually a wonderful initiative which you are keeping in mind the young students, since you are just completed your engineering and your startup expedition. So I think this will be a very good support for young engineers who are coming up with a mindset of working with the technology business incubators and startups, and definitely looking forward to listen from them as a feedback in the days to come. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Rajesh Kumar, the idol of this conference, this webinar, who is an entrepreneur, IoT solutions and mobile, and product technology and partnerships is specialty, armed with a bachelor's degree in computer application with over 10 years of experience in managing business, customers, and stakeholders, bringing customer delight through proactive services and solutions. So I would like to invite Rajesh to take the forum and share his experiences.
Okay. Thanks, Professor Suresh. As I know it's been very late for a lot of us, I quickly take a few minutes to introduce myself and my organization and what we do in the industry space, also what we do in particularly in the South American countries. So we are a 15 years old company, presence in Japan, Europe, and South Asia. And we have a customer base across the global, including South American countries in Brazil and Argentina in particular. And about our company is Avogi. We are a digital transformation, voice first digital transformation company. What is voice first is we use voice inputs to get the transaction of the data through the mobilities and e-commerce and any enterprise applications. We have around 75 plus developers in 2 centers. One is in Bengaluru and another is in Chennai. So as a services, what we do is we do IoT projects. It's a lot of sensor-driven projects and camera-based projects. Second, we do work with a lot of cloud applications and mobile applications and web applications. And we do a lot in the e-commerce space. We have customers in South America for our agri technologies, agri-tech, and also to e-commerce platform. We have a voice technology, which is basically we are a first, one of the first companies in APAC. We introduce the voice transactions to pull the data, also transform the data, which for the any enterprise application. Example, just you want a couple of data that reports from your existing applications. We use to the mobile voice transactions or through the Alexa's voice-enabled devices to pull the data. So we work in the kind of industries in the healthcare, 40+%, and logistics and transportation, and agriculture and agri-tech in particular, and government and e-commerce space is more prominent. Around 70+% of business runs around these industries. The rest is in particular the pharma. So pharma has been emerging. We work very closely with the pharma companies, both on digital transformation, mobile applications, platform building, and we do a couple of analytics space for them. And our client space, we look at into South America, is, as I mentioned, is IoT projects, e-commerce, and in particular industries, agri-tech and logistics, and e-commerce space. So few use cases, like we do a wearable device, platform building, basically monitor the health data remotely and giving the pediatricians rest of the health ecosystem to do the decision making, also to monitor closely for the emergency care. And we build a lot of IoT and AI platforms, monitoring different data in the cloud storage and agriculture industries, and also cold storage ecosystems. And we have we are the company builder the first sensor-driven baby diapers, and which is basically measure the wetness on the baby diapers and also give the data to the pediatricians and caretakers to change the diapers, also for the various health data which is measured, monitor. This is about us. With regards to the Indian IT with South American IT industry, there's a huge potential. So yes, compared to the market cost, what North America provide services or Europe provide a service to the South American countries, as now we see like a Tata's to any big players who have their own presence, and 40 to 50% of our industry from India serving the South American countries for IT enablement in various industry verticals. And the startups, as President mentioned, startups now in the recent times from last 5 years, we provide a lot of services. We see like our market share in the South American countries has been increased. There is a lot of transactions in between, like collaboratively we work together. A couple of projects with the startups in Argentina, Chile, or in Brazil. I see there is a lot of potential even in Panama too. And we Kundan, very closely working with the Kundan to see that a couple of things where we can, both the countries can do a collaborative engagement and provide a platform building locally in Panama and service to the entire South American and Central America region. So I just posted this call. I'll be putting my contact details in the group, in the chat room. So any questions, any help, any information on the IT or IT enablement services, you can always pull me. I allow to clarify. Thanks, Mr. Gundan, and thanks, Nilsha, and the ambassador for Panama to organize a fantastic event. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rajesh, for the elaborate presentation. And you have been updating your business according to the needs of the industry. And I could watch over there. And thank you very much for bridging INLACE with Karnataka CI and with Tamil Nadu CI also, and with the government officials. It was a wonderful contribution for this webinar. Thank you very much for your presentation. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Anand. Dr. Anand, you are ready? Hello? Dr. Yes. Anand? Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah. Dr. Anand is an MS in geriatric, and he's a pharmacologist and PG course in diabetology. It takes a long time to read all his qualifications. He's a lawyer, he's a legal person, he's a management person, he's a diploma in cyber law, he's an acupuncturist, and he's a hospital administration, clinical counseling. Oh my God, he's a man of knowledge. I think really it is going to be a wonderful session from Dr. Anand. Dr. Anand, the forum is yours. Take care.
Thank you so much. At the outset, I'm very much thankful to His Excellency Mr. Upender Singh Rawat and all the key speakers today's this webinar, as well as the very special thanks to Suresh and Kundan. Little bit I apologize about from my side communication. There is a gap this morning, so I apologize for this, and I'll take care about henceforth. Another thing is about the, thank you so much that I got the idea about the Hardeep. Then Madam Nathani Madam has also given the wonderful the information about what exactly requirement different steps. Even Deepak Ramaswamy also has given some kind of information about the Panama countries and how about the exports and transport, etc., etc. I'm happy about that Mr. Ferrari, the Kundan has recommended that Ferrari, that Rawat sir, he will give the to enter this thing permission to India visa and other things. So I am here from Maharashtra, Mumbai. Basically, I'm the Vice President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Maharashtra State Branch. I will give 2 minutes about the what exactly Indian pharmaceutical sector and overview. The pharmaceutical industry in India ranked 3rd in the world in terms of volume and 14th in terms of value. India cost of production is nearly 33% lower than that of the US cost. Labor costs are 50 to 55% cheaper than Western countries. The cost of setting a production plant in India is 40% as lower than the Western countries. India has the second largest number of US FDA approved manufacturing plants outside the US. India has 2,633 FDA approved drug products. India has over 546 US FDA approved company sites. So these are the very many things is there from our positive side. But why this is possible about the human resource and coming English speaking country, and then communications, even though we have our regional and traditional different languages, still our main language, I mean education, the maximum we are going in the English language. So that is also helping a lot for the communication and export and import. So that is also one of the key point. Going through the all the points and everything, and behalf of this Indian Pharmaceutical Association Maharashtra State Branch, I'm inviting the Ferrari and other people, those, I mean Hardeep and other, as and when they are coming to Mumbai, please visit and communicate to me. I will touch with, I mean, I'll keep this communication with the Kundan Kanan, and please visit Bombay, and I will organize on behalf of Indian Pharmaceutical Association business meeting or whatever as per your program also. And we will invite some industry people, pharmaceutical modern industry, as well as Ayurveda herbal industry, or any other also as per your need and requirement. But probably we will, since I am a vice president of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, I'll give more stress on the pharmaceutical sector, and even education also. I am also inviting, and I'm ready to collaborate with you people, because today's the Indian, we have this Sanskrit phrase, that's Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is, word is one family. And yes, of course, the people, you people organize this webinar for Panama and India, and certain advantages we have to take and we have to give up to other countries to develop. We have the Indian Pharmaceutical Association Maharashtra State Branch. We have the Bombay College of Pharmacy at Kalina, very close to Bombay Airport. And this college is standalone, which is affiliated to Mumbai University. But right now, the University Grant Commission has given the status of autonomy. And that college stands, CII and All India Council of Technical Education has given many awards. And they have stopped giving awards. They have given last award as a mentor, and they said that now you develop other colleges. Taking this chance and keeping in mind this, there's a mentor award. I'm interested to collaborate with any other pharmacy college in the Panama, or if they want some drug related new drug delivery system or any other kind of, because our college is the best college in India as a standalone, which is affiliated to any university. So in that sense, and I'm a governing body member, I'm inviting to visit our college and enjoy our Maharashtrian food or Indian curry or etc. whatever you want. We will organize that for you people. And definitely another meeting will be related with the pharmaceutical sectors. Although the modern drug has developed in, I mean, distributed, manufactured in the US, UK, and then distributed in first in the Kolkata region during British. But afterwards, the Mumbai has taken the chance about the textile and pharmaceutical and drug industry. Number one in the steel in India, the Maharashtra is leading. And different districts like Nasik, then Satara and other countries also. And there are so many other players, they can also invest and manufacturing units in your Panama. We can think about that also. That is the reason I will organize some kind of the meeting in, as and when you people will come to Ferrari and other Hardeep or maybe your team. So I'll welcome to you. Right now I'm giving invitation on behalf of Indian Pharmaceutical Maharashtra Branch as a vice president by this capacity. And another for the collaboration, yes, definitely we are there for the Bombay education side, that Bombay College of Pharmacy, we are ready to you just give us, we don't know anything about the university, what they are exactly going the pharmaceutical science or health sciences related. If industry is doing some problem related to the drug or something, we will solve, we will take the consultancy or any other kind of the things, we'll give the name of that, and definitely we are there for you to develop our relationship, and we are there. With this, once again, I will say thank you to Mr. Kundan and Surejji and Nilsa and all the team members. A big thanks to you people. I got this first time the Panama exposure. Definitely, I'll go through this more information I'll collect, and I'll keep myself update about your country. And once again, standing this invitation for you people to Mumbai visit with Maharashtrian traditional food or maybe whatever you want, Indian curry or other countries. It is invitation from my side to your team members. So we'll have a very good deliberation over there. We'll call all the people's association, manufacturing units people, and you can have a discussion. With this, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Anand. It was, even though it was a bit late, but you are latest. You are given so much of information, especially Pharma is one of the most expected information for the webinar, textiles and pharma. As of now, you are given so much of information because India has so far supplied COVID-19 vaccine to 15 countries and another 25 nations are on the queue at different levels for the job. External Affairs Minister, just last week he was talking about the COVID vaccine supply to other countries. And even in the 90s when we had this AIDS pandemic, we had big supplies of AIDS drugs from India, which was my thesis subject. So India is always leading in this pharma industry, and you are given a very good clear picture about how much India could provide in the Indo-Panamanian venture. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Looking forward for a detailed presentation in our next webinar. Exclusively, we'll start working on it. Okay. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite
Professor Suresh, can I?
Yes.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Anand, a very quick word for you. We believe at INLACE and Avohi, my partner in Bangalore, that geographical distance is no distance. Okay? Yes. Geographical distance is no distance. To do business with Latin America, you have to be in Latin America. Okay? Yes. INLACE is here in Panama. INLACE is here with Latin America. You can see our friend Licenciado Julian Cardoso, Silvia Benitez, and other friends are there from other countries, Uruguay and Argentina. So people are hearing you out. As we always say, the next IT, that is the next technology of information from India is nothing but pharma sector. Okay. Yeah, so let's work together hand in hand. And you have already invited people from Panama to Mumbai. The next in line will be Nilsa. Nilsa is looking forward. Look at her smile. Okay. 10 years back, she was in Mumbai. She will go tomorrow to Mumbai. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So, that I'll give my details on your WhatsApp and other way. You can
convey
the definitely I'll organize the meeting and everything. Don't worry about that. Thank you
yes,
so much.
we are working together. Dr. Anand, we are working together. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Professor Suresh.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now I would like to invite the next speaker, Dr. Chandra Sagran, a postdoctoral fellow at the Emory University, US, Center for Chronic Disease Control, New Delhi, Public Health Foundation of India. He completed his master's in public health also. I'm very proud that I was his professor. And Chandra Sagran's skills and expertise is in the clinical research and behavioral intervention, especially in yoga and naturopathy, which we wanted to have as a last thing because everybody will be tired, and he will talk about how the stress is going to be reduced by practicing yoga. So I would like to invite Dr. Chandra Sagran without any further delay. Thank you, Dr. Chandra Sagran, joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all people who are waiting for the last session. So I'll briefly go through the yoga naturopathy system of medicine and its potential as a industry in India and in Panama. Let's go. The idea is like the yoga naturopathy system of medicine is a drugless system of to know about what is this. It is a system. It is a drugless system of medicine with less approach on the drug-based. With less of a drug-based approach rather than, and it emphasizes on the body's innate healing mechanisms. It has a blend of lifestyle approaches and therapies, and it aims at improving the body's innate healing mechanisms. And why specifically yoga naturopathy from an Indian perspective is is good in comparison to other countries. It has a blend of yoga, a mind-body medical approach along with naturopathic principles. It has a long history of university-approved medical education program. And when I like in some of the discussions, people are discussing about the knowledge-based economy, and this is one area which is which is focusing primarily on knowledge-based economy, so why one should invest or one should focus on yoga and naturopathy? Non-communicable diseases are on the rise, primarily associated with stress and unhealthy lifestyle. We have better medical care all across the world, which leads to increased lifespan. And however, it has an associated increase in qualities, and that is affected. So, in addition, there is a realization of importance of healthy living, whether it is avoidance of tobacco or moderation in alcohol intake or in other unhealthy behaviors restrictions. And finally, there is a growing evidence of yoga and naturopathic interventions. So the idea is like there's a growing interest in medical tourism and wellness tourism all across the world. India has a huge number of yoga and naturopathy hospitals in the world. We can provide very good medical tourism related to yoga and naturopathy. And in specific, we have almost 200 hospitals in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. We are home to almost 10,000 doctors with 60 yoga and naturopathy colleges in the country. And it is a potential low-cost medical tourism, and we have a easy visa processing. And the businessmen, people from Panama can make use of this medical tourism in a much better way. And we have also yoga and naturopathy related equipment production industries, which can supply to the needs of the world actually. On what we can work around is two areas. One is about building yoga and naturopathy industry in Latin America, especially in Panama, which is located in the Central America and a popular tourist spot. It's the best. Already it has its own tourism related industry and medical tourism related industry, and having a yoga and naturopathy will attract more in this area. And in India, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka can assist or help Panama in developing the human resource. As Tamil Nadu has a good, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka both has a good medical education sector, and we have a medical equipment related industries. And also we are doing lots of research in establishing alternate or low-cost models of rehabilitation programs for variety of various illness. Recently we have completed a yoga-based cardiac rehabilitation program. So similarly, we can arrive at some low-cost and potentially efficacious rehabilitation models working with the knowledge partners in the Panama. And coming to medical tourism in India, we have state-of-the-art yoga and naturopathy hospitals in both public and private sectors. That will be a good platform for medical tourism exchange from Panama to India. So this is what personally I would like to share in this forum. Thanks to all the people for running this wonderful session. I'm basically a yoga and naturopathy doctor and a researcher, and this trade is totally a new ball and game for me. Thanks to Suresh sir for inviting me here, and I have learned a lot out of this entire nearly 2 hours. It's 3 years long session, and I didn't miss a word. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandra sir. I've been following you in the social media, all your wonderful interventions in naturopathy and yoga, and your posts on yoga. Sometimes it's useful for me as a personal practice. So thank you very much being part of this INLACE team, and looking forward in a big way to take it and introduce in not only in Panama, the entire Latin American region. And Kundan is there, and he is very keen about naturopathy and yoga, and he has been talking. When he got your profile, immediately he said, don't delay, immediately call him, see that he is not slipping from our things. So thank you very much joining us. Yes, Prabhu is there, join. Mr. Prabhu.
I just like to make an observation. Dr. Chandra Sagran, I do yoga for last 15 years without fail.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And Nilsa is also an ardent practitioner of yoga. Nilsa there.
So Chandra Sagran is an expert in that. So definitely, not only that, naturopathy, he'll give the food suggestions also, food diet and how to make food itself as a medicine. That is what his specialty. So he'll definitely make it to that. Okay. So thank you very much. Is Prabhu is there? Join. Mr. Prabhu.
I believe.
SR Prabhu. SR Prabhu. Yeah, okay.
I believe,
Okay.
unfortunately, the
Hi.
signal has.
Hello,
not-
sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, yes, sir. Sir,
Yes.
can you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, please.
Yes, yes, sir. The meeting was 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we are somewhere confused. This Prabhu is the
Yeah,
is
exactly.
our dear friend, and INLACE managing partner's son. Also, he's the CEO of Tandem Exim in Chennai. Okay, he's the
Thank you
CEO
so
of
much.
Tandem Exim. Yeah. So, anyways, Prabhu, you will be making the presentation in our next webinar. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are looking for SRS Prabhu from Chennai, a producer.
I
Maybe
do
we're
not think
having-
that. I think
Yeah.
that he actually was kicked out of the meeting because of signal, so he's not there.
Okay,
We can
okay.
wrap it up.
Anyway, thank you very much, panelists. All your inputs are very valuable, useful, and definitely each and every point has been recorded, and we'll make a document out of it and share with all the participants who missed this webinar, either because of technical issues or because of the time slot. And thank you, Mr. Hardeep, Ms. Alvarado, Mr. Rajesh, Mr. Deepak Ramaswamy, Mr. Dr. Anand, Mr. Prabhu, and Mr. Pranjal Jain, and the last one, Dr. Chandra Sagran, for all your inputs. Very valuable information shared. Thank you very much. Keep in touch with us and looking forward for your wonderful services in the future days to come. Thank you very much. Nilsa, back to you.
Yes.
I think there is one person, Muthulingam, who would love to ask a question because his
Yeah,
That-
Nilsa is handling that. Nilsa is
Yeah.
handling that. Yeah.
That's the point that we're going exactly. So we're going to open up the opportunity to ask a few questions.
Make it brief. Make it brief. The
brief.
questions. Yeah, please.
Um,
And mention whom you want to ask the question. Mention the name of the presenter and introduce yourself, please. If any question is there, anything in the chat box, any
Muthulingam?
question has been.
Muthulingam has the hands up. You can
Acha,
go ahead,
Pradeep.
please.
Is it Pradeep? Hello? Is it Pradeep? Is it Pradeep Muthulingam? Hello?
Maybe it was raised, by mistake. It could have been.
Now, he is an environmental scientist and he is working
Oh,
in
there.
Thailand.
Yes.
Pradeep, are you there? Pradeep?
I think he may have risen the hand by mistake. So if there is any inquiry, any question that you would like to ask
but
any
he
of
left,
the
actually.
previous
He left,
panelists,
Yeah.
feel free to go ahead and do so at this time. We can definitely go ahead and answer any of the questions. We still have Ms. Yolani from Panama here.
Is there any questions posted in the chat box?
No.
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 No, okay. All right. Somebody has raised over there. Thank you.
Yeah, there is one question
Kundan?
coming in. Yeah.
Somebody, Jagan is asking, Mr. Jagan is asking, is there any sort of opportunities for oil, gas upstream or geotech works?
Yeah. Okay. To answer immediately to Jagan, Mr. Jagan, as far as the upstream sector in oil and gas is concerned, okay, the main countries for the oil exploration from Latin America is Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela, and Mexico in line. INLACE is into official connect and communication with respective government in these countries, okay, Argentina included, in the upstream. In the downstream sector of the oil exploration, you can have the marketing ability, tell us how do we collaborate with you, and we can plan it together. You're welcome to Panama. We can eventually provide you, a kind of springboard into both upstream and downstream, not necessarily upstream because not of the exploration, because Panama itself imports crude oil, okay, and refined oil. So, but downstream, definitely yes. Okay, I think it satisfied your question initially, but let's look forward to have a more frequent communication with you in order to develop a new synergy in the upstream and the downstream sector vis-a-vis oil and gas. Thank you, Jagan.
Yeah, he is working with, yeah. Yes, Jagan?
Sorry, Suresh sir, a small query I have from Kundan sir and Alicia. See, I am a first generation entrepreneur who worked with tribal fruit recipe. Tribals are spread all over India. And I'm telling you, India is a country of diversity as far as food is concerned. South Indian foods are so different from the food from where I come, West Bengal, the sweets and all those. I think Kundan sir knows it well.
Not only food. South Indians are always different. That's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they are intellectual lot out there. So that's also there. So what I'm just trying to hint at is India being a country of diversity as far as traditional art forms are concerned and food products are concerned, foods and beverages, how far is the opportunity to be there in Latin American countries and Panama in particular to market our fruit products, not FRUIT, FOOD, so that we can talk a bit. Please help me with some information.
May I?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, yes.
Okay. As far as the food is concerned, it is always advisable to take, the food into value addition services, repacking and the packing. Now, take it from the value addition, a part of it. We have, for example, what we call it moringa, turmerico, okay? All the types of spices and the condiments. How do you present that product and how do you sell? Now see, post-pandemic, we will be having 3 bigger areas. One, pharma, IT is already ongoing, and the food industry. So these 3 areas will be the new verticals and the new sectors, okay, to be winning over the world, right? So again, depends upon how do you market yourself. If you come up with a new product which has an Indian essence to it, Panama can be a natural platform as a springboard to sell in entire Americas. My friends from Uruguay, Argentina, Venezuela, and Peru right now, they are listening to us. They will take note of that obviously. And again, we can talk to Mr. Ferrari to provide you a platform so that more and more product can be injected at the colon-free zone, which is a natural hub to promote the product from Panama.
I will have to adjust, don't make it too spicy.
Yeah. Oh, that will be done. Because India is the largest exporter of spices. Indian spices are globally marketed.
Oh,
so
I mean, don't make it too hot. Like that's what I meant. Not too hot, because here we're going to die.
And I find Julian there, Julian Carlos. I don't know whether he is from Brazil, but we are very fond of the Brazilian and the Argentine football in India.
No, Julian Cardoso is from Argentina, my dear friend. Can you give mic to Nilsa? Can you give mic to Julian, please? Julian
I am ardent follower of Maradona, and I felt so bad he died young. And I don't support Brazil, I support Argentina always. So
very
Julian,
good.
you are with me.
Julian, so Julian, over to you, please, quickly.
Thank you very much for remembering my country about Maradona. But in this meeting, the most important thing that you know that everything that you put here in Panama or in Buenos Aires will be a good business, because in the near future, the best business will be about services. So you need to be very close to your customers to have a very quickly response to get a good position of your products in Panama, and from Panama to all the nearest country that Panama have,
Julian, you are changing side. You will be offending many Argentinian friends, but anyway, welcome to Panama and promote Panama. Thank you, my friend.
Now I'm in Panama. Today I'm in Panama, so.
I'm meeting you today evening, and we are having dinner together. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Why not? Okay.
Sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Julian.
for the
Thank you,
invitation.
Julian. Thank you, Julian.
Is there any other inquiry in
Yeah,
the?
if no questions are there, Nilsa, I can wrap up and then we can
Yes.
close the session. Yeah.
Well, I'm not seeing any hands, not like emoticon hands or real hands raised at the moment. So, oh, there you go. Okay, Mr. Prakash, please go ahead. And I'm very sorry if I mentioned the name.
from Mumbai. Yeah, I have a few friends, but they're not familiar with English speaking. So, can you provide any translator like Hindi to English, and some Tamil friends also there who are agriculture scientists and all, who are willing to join this webinar? Is it possible, Mr. Kundan?
No, I didn't get you. You want to
See,
say
some language problem. They cannot communicate in the webinar in English.
Yes, I think we will be able to make some of
I'm
the
in
questions.
Mumbai. I can speak in 9 languages, but my friends in Mumbai, born and brought up, they are familiar with Hindi speaking.
We definitely, I think that we will be able to make it like some of the key questions that were asked and key information. We can definitely go ahead and put somebody there to work, because I cannot translate into anything else but Spanish or English. So we can have them assist us in getting some of those translations of those key questions and key information and make that available.
Next webinar we may join, because today it was too late. We could not connect in time. So I will invite those people.
Prakash sir, already you are giving a very good incentive to us, very good insight to us to think about multilingual platform. INLACE, as I repeat, INLACE is a natural interfacing platform between industry and industry academia. Okay. So we'll work towards it. And welcome to the webinar. Welcome.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Yeah, one minute. I think Pradeep was joined. Pradeep?
No, he's not.
There.
There you go. He's just waiting.
Suresh sir, just a small input, very small input. Kundan sir, Nelisha and Suresh sir, since India is progressing very fast in education and promoting globally, so I would request, being from the academia as well as industry, I want to work closely with universities out there and learn from each other. So if those things can be explored further, because ultimately education makes a difference, whether it is business or society. So, entrepreneurial ecosystem in universities, incubators, accelerators, because Panamanians and Indians can jointly collaborate to start businesses. And there are possibilities, because internet is now the medium. So that's up to you.
Pradeep? Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, I would like to introduce Dr. Pradeep. He is an environmental scientist. He's a doctorate from Pondicherry University, and he's been working with State Disaster Management Cell of Government of Tamil Nadu. In fact, I wanted him to be one of the panelists, but since disaster management is going to be our topic for the next webinar, so I kept him in the reserve. So Pradeep is here. He has raised his hand for a question. And 2 areas he specialized, which will be very useful for Latin America. One is on environment-based interventions, research studies. And number 2 is on disaster management, being Latin America is full of mines and disasters are very common over there because of the volcanoes and landslides and earthquakes and flash floods. And he is an expertise. Yeah. So
anybody working for the team of INLACE and its associate partners, we are beautiful disasters ourselves.
Anyway. Yeah, Pradeep. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Suresh sir. And thank you, Mr. Kundan. It's nice to meet you. And I have heard about you from Suresh as well as Pari sir. It was a pleasant experience. I had worked with Parivelan in Tata Institute of Social Sciences. I was a faculty there. in Jamshedpur School of Disaster Management. After then, I have joined Tamil Nadu State Disaster Management Authority. I was working as an environment expert for them. And also I have experience of working with early warning system where we have an organization called Regional Integrated Multi-Hazard Early Warning System for Africa and Asia. So we work for almost 50 countries in Africa and Asia then. And right now I have moved on and I'm doing consultancy, environmental related consultancy in disaster management as well as environmental and biodiversity conservation. So actually, yesterday I was talking with Suresh and he told about this session, and I would like to collaborate with you. It's really gives me an immense pleasure to meet you, everyone in this platform. And I have been following this seminar since from 7 o'clock. I was a little bit late from office, and it was a really good initiative, and a lot of information I have gathered, very interesting for investment and business opportunities in between India and Panama. And I have a question that I wanted to talk about is how much the environmental based, that is nature based solutions for disaster risk reduction is going on there, and how much it would be an opportunity for India and Panama to collaborate, because we are tropical countries and we do have similar environment and surroundings, and also having multi-hazard vulnerability. So how it is, and how would it be a good time to collaborate in that perspective? So that is what I wanted to ask, and that would be my question for you. And yeah, looking forward to hear from you.
Yeah, Kundan.
Hardeep, in that concept, in that aspect, we will be now regularly communicating with you, because INLACE will be very keen to create a platform of interconfluence platform between all the Latin American nations, mainly vulnerable to disasters. Okay, and Professor Suresh is working on that. We will be publishing some papers on our website. We will take the reference, and we will take your capabilities and your reach, so that there will be an academic interaction with reference to disaster management and ecosystem failure and whatever, and how Latin American countries know their response time. So our friend Julian Cardoso from Argentina, Silvia Benitez from Uruguay, Ricardo Chacon from Venezuela. We have Ambassador Ariel Andrade from El Salvador. So we are a team from Latin America who have already worked in the field of natural calamities. So we will take a call and we'll come back to you full-fledged. And as Professor Suresh rightly pointed out, our next webinar will be very much focused on these particular areas. Okay. Thank you,
and one more question. How about engaging the local communities in because we are in a situation already, pandemic is going on, and we are also going to witness a lot of climate change and global warming. The impacts is going to be devastating. El Nino and La Nina phase is going on. So we are doing a lot of research. We are also having a lot of impacts about it. And I wanted to have some glimpse of, we are moving towards a situation where people will be called as the climate refugees, displacement due to climate change and its impact. It is going to be severe in India in the future. And that is also an area that I wanted to look at how things can happen in the future with Panama and other Latin American countries, which has similar kind of impact. So that is also another point.
It's very well said, Pradeep. It's very well said, because we are talking about industry and development. Simultaneously, if you are going to be environmental refugees, people moving out, is going to have an interruption and interruption in the business. So that is what we said. We should consider INLACE will look into it as a holistic development, rather not only with industry or academia. It will look as a holistic development, bringing all stakeholders into the platform and bring together to make the communities and the relationship between India and Latin America to grow in a better way. Thank you very much for taking.
As far as the climate refugees are concerned, we will relate it to the Latin American integration process. It's a very interesting process, and we work with our friend, who is right now present there, Julian Cardoso. We'll work on that. Okay, climate, refugees, and Latin American integration process. We'll work on that.
Okay,
we'll work on that.
Great.
Thanks, brother.
Indeed.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you, Kundan. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Suresh, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
very
you,
important. Today we have been able to touch base into so many areas and realize that there is so much more opportunity to continue to explore. That it has opened the doors for us to create sessions in a more more sectionalized. This has been my word of today, sectionalized, sectorized areas, especially within education, with the disaster management. All of these things are existing here in Panama. We have a lot of, with disaster management, there is a whole team, there is a whole entity, which I am very sorry, but I do not know the name by heart, but it is here in one of our free trade zones that is on regards of disaster management for the United Nations. And one of my friends and colleagues have actually been a key person in putting in place in Panama a disaster management fund that didn't exist a few years back, like these few years, 10, 15 years back. And we have that entity with all of the things with ergonomics and safety and water protection and safety. Especially these days, a lot of people are just taking that as granted. And that likewise with education, likewise with pharmaceutical, we have so many interesting things and areas of opportunities that we have been able to discover today. And it has been our honor to be able to have you in this session. And for you, the super troopers who have stayed all the way till now, especially when we have gone completely out of your time, and we cannot be more honored with your presence and your increase. And we hope that for our next sessions, right now we are planning already, because this has to keep it hot, keep it warm here. We're planning on our next session for March 25th. It's a good number, it's a good day, it's a good Thursday. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it going in that manner. And we will keep you posted on exactly that area that we want to go ahead and focus on that seminar.
Julian
Licenciado Cardoso, por favor, antes de que cierre.
Thank you very much. A little resume. In this moment, I'm from Argentina. I'm living half part of my life in Panama and the half in Buenos Aires. But now I'm thinking with another friends in start a new brand of tea with tea from India. To develop from Panama to all the world. So this is the networking that we can make together, and speak with the professor. I'm a professor too from University of Argentina, State University of Argentina, and here in Panama too. So I can help you in all the things that you want.
Fantastic.
So
yeah, thank you
once
very
again,
much. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much. And this is the kind of networks that we want to continue setting. That's what we want to do. That's our main motto and the name of our consortium, INLACE, to link companies and businesses and countries together, and academia as well. So at this time, once again, thank you so much for your participation today. We couldn't have been more honored with all of your input and all of your questions. And at this time, once again, thank you on behalf of INLACE. Thank you on behalf of all our key speakers and panelists for today. And we hope to see you the next time. I hope you have a great evening and buenas tardes acá en Panamá. Empieza el día continúa for you guys. So thank you so much, and take care, and we'll see you next.
Thank you very much. There is one suggestion and one question to you. One suggestion is, here it is night. Of course, it is now 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. now. Not 10:30. It's almost 10:30. Whereas it is daytime. you and Kundan could have taken your cameras over there sitting at the banks of Panama Canal, and if you had been moderating it, we would have had a chance of watching the ships passing by. So next time you can think about it, so that we can think about it. That's one thing. And the question to Nilsa is, when are you visiting Chennai?
Acha, I have to go. I have to go visit Chennai, and in a soon time. I have new friends that I have to go visit, and new acquaintances, and hopefully new business partners as well that I will be visiting there.
Yeah.
I visited Pune and Mumbai, Maharashtra, which is like also a special place
That's
for me.
why I said, see, you visited those places, but you are promoting Karnataka and Tamil Nadu.
So now I have to continue. Yes.
Yeah.
And we will not give you hot, spicy foods.
Yes.
Okay?
Oh, it's okay. I can hold some. I already cry over spicy hot food, so it's okay. I'll survive.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful having everyone, all the panelists. Thank you very much, Kundan. Wonderful initiative, and looking forward to take it further next thing. And not to least Rajesh and Sundar sir for your contribution, and not but the least Pranjal for making this technical support very marvelously, organizing everything. I know for the past 2 weeks, Nilsa and Kundan, Pranjal have been day and night. They have been organizing, getting panelists, everything. So thank you very much for each and every one.
Suresh, I am very proud of Pranjal. I am very proud of Pranjal. I am a VIT professor, and Pranjal is a student from our campus. So I am very proud to see our student doing so well. Thank you, Pranjal.
Yes. And he is a pet of Dr. Bala also. So, yeah. So thank you very much. And Kundan, we can wrap up and close the session. Thank you very much. We can.
Thank you, Professor Suresh. Rajesh, you would like to drop in? Rajesh, you'd like to share something? Rajesh?
No, thanks a lot, all of you. It's been fantastic team effort and support across all speakers, panel members, audience. First time I'm sitting in front of the computer for almost nearing to 4 hours, almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
Of a long time.
Wonderful.
Okay, bye. Good night. Have a good day to all of you. Thanks, Suresh. And
thank you,
Mr. John.
Sundar sir. Anything?
Soon.
Sundar sir, last word.
I think we are all lost in time, lost in information, and now let us come out of it. Let's get into the real world to face our daily code, and we have overshot, taken double the time.
Yes.
And it is better we wrap up saying that with this we wind up.
Yes. Thank you.
As the youngest person on the forum spoke already, John Sundar sir. Okay, so he's the youngest on the forum here in the room here. So let us wind it up. We are like-minded, right-minded people with that particular vision, with that particular mission. Let me extend very warm and very heartfelt gratitude to the Ambassador of India to Panama, Ambassador Rawat sir. It is on record. INLACE is working very, very closely with Ambassador of India to Panama, accredited to Costa Rica and Nicaragua. So going forward, we might have our next webinar maybe on 25th or 30th of March, 30. So look forward to having larger participation. And as Nilsa pointed out, we will be vertical and sectorial specific in our next webinar. We will be working again and come back to you again. And during that course of time, let us, the communication be through and through. Again, I repeat, and again, I reiterate, geographical distance is no distance. INLACE believes in that, and we are firm. Thank you so much. Good night to you, and good morning and good afternoon here. And we look forward to meet Julian and have a big glass of beer in the evening today.
If you all wish, we could take a group photo.
Yes. Go ahead. Click, please.
In India, we are missing out on the beer.
Welcome to Panama to have more kind of beer, more than 9 types, of beer. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Pranjal, go ahead.
Everyone, could you please switch on your cameras?
A lot of people have gone for dinner, I think, in India, those who are there.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Well, and if it's something about beers, we even have an amazing microbrew festival over here, talking about all of the beers and all of the stuff. I do enjoy very much something different than the standard beer. So in Panama, this has been something very developed. So a little bit of science, a little bit of new education, a little bit of open-mindedness and sharing. So
and by the way, just to share with you that whenever I cook at my home, it gives me tougher time because Nilsa has recently converted vegan. Earlier she was very good.
Oh my God.
Everything,
Oh.
but now, yeah, completely vegan. Vegan with beer and whiskey, okay? Mind you, vegan with beer and whiskey. So yeah.
Beer and whiskey don't have no meat at all, not even butter, not even ghee. So it's good.
Not even ghee. Great.
Okay.
So,
already.
Switch on your video, that would be nice.
Bye. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias.
Be there for a while. Yeah, one person is coming in. Here I welcome wholeheartedly Dr. Preeti Pant, the academic director of INLACE, and by chance she is my wife as well. So can you drop in some words, Dr. Preeti, please?
Now you can wrap up and give a feedback how it was, even though it was double the time, as you rightly said.
I think it was very interesting. It was very interesting, and it was very heartening to see how it doesn't have much precedence talking about Bangalore and Chennai and Panama, three together. I mean, three in one place doesn't have much of a precedence, and it was very nice to see. And maybe also because of the times that people are kind of ready and prepared to step out of their comfort zone. So I think this is just the right time, and you should tap into all of this. And the pandemic gives us the opportunity of organizing and getting people together without really putting much of the moolah, which we have seen that previously when we had to do it physically, it was a big problem. But I think this has been wonderful. Next time, I think maybe we can work on the timing a little bit so that, by the time the second part of the seminar began, it was work time in Panama and it was sleep time in India. So people must have missed out on a very, the keynote speakers are important people, but the panelists are the real people who take the whole webinar forward. So, but it was amazing. I think I learned a lot of things about what all people are thinking about and which way it's going. And wonderful job, all of you. Amazing. Technical things aside, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's what they say, no? Every ending has got a beginning. So we will end to give you the solution, and then Panamanians will work in the daytime and then complete it. That's it. So
the solution to not overshoot on the time is that we need to tell Mr. Kundan not to be so much ambitious. So keep it short.
Yeah.
Oh, next time they will miss the dinner. We will not be missing the lunch. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good day, Panamanians, and good night for Indians, for other persons. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, Nilsa. Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye, Gundan. Bye, Pranjal. Bye, Suresh. Bye, Preeti. Nice to see you.
Bye, Pranjal.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ji. Bye-bye. Great job, Nilsa. Great job. Beautiful.